RPS.
Live from Primavera Sound.
Proudly presented by
MetaHype and Cupra.
Hello and welcome once again to Radio Primavera Sound, going out on the radio and on Twitch. I forgot to say this before, but if you want leave any comments or chat or anything like that, well, we may ask questions, we may not, depending on how polite they are and how interesting they are. Anyway, we are very pleased. We're here with Cavetown. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's a pleasure. Just walked over here as well.
Yeah, I just took a stroll. It's a lovely evening. It's beautiful weather. It was a nice walk.
You already played your set, so thank you so much for coming, because I bet you want to be doing something else, maybe enjoying the festival, being on other places, but you're here in the radio. Thank you so much for taking your time to come.
Yeah, of course.
Because we really want to ask you a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
I really like your music because you tackle like a lot of sensitive topics, and actually when you go on your social media or places where people can leave comments, a lot of them are like, your music has changed me or helped me so much, and people really appreciate that sensitiveness that your music brings. Is it, when you're writing, is it something you have in mind, like, oh, I wish this helps someone, or you're doing it purely for yourself, and as a consequence, a good consequence, it ends up helping people?
Yeah, no, I think you've said it exactly. I definitely like write for myself primarily. It's always been like my kind of way of writing, like almost like a diary, like a journal, just like talking about my feelings, or like addressing myself, almost like saying things that I need to hear. And it kind of helps me get stuff out that's maybe harder to process in other ways. And so, yeah, it's very, very cool when I can see that it's helped other people process stuff too. And I don't think people realize that it helps me, just as like the fact that it helps them helps me as well. Mm-hmm. The fact that like people tell me that like, oh, this song it touched a feeling that I've never heard anyone else say before, and I don't feel alone anymore because of it. And the fact that someone else has said that helps me not feel alone, you know? It's like, it's a really cool like back and forth like relationship that's formed, and yeah, it helps me as I'm writing it, and then it helps me in other ways afterwards as well, which is really
it's
cool.
It's like a mutual exchange.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You help me and you help me back. Is there a point where you were writing and you were like, oh my God, that's too intimate, like that's too, like, have you ever had to censor yourself because you were like, oh, I don't want my mom to know that much about my personal diary kind of thing?
Very rarely. Usually when I'm writing, I just kind of am in the zone, and it just, I write what needs to come out of me, I guess. And I think my mom has like come to learn that when I play her a song, she doesn't need to like understand what it means, or like for like a long time whenever I played her a song, she'd be like, it sounds good, but I don't get it. What are you saying? And I'm like, I don't want to explain to you that I'm like depressed. And so she's kind of like grown to realize like, oh, the fact that I'm writing sad stuff means that that's getting it off my chest. That's a good thing. I don't need to explain it. But usually I don't, I'm lucky enough to have like people around me who make me feel like I can write whatever I need to write, and I don't need to like censor myself really if I need to get something out in a certain way. So, yeah.
As we said, you have like a very like deep connection with your fans, because your lyrics make that like a connection that you feel like understood and stuff. How do you keep this connection more than just the music? Like, do you use like social media to engage in that sense? The meet and greet. I know you, when you were first beginning, tried to like say hello to each person that came to your shows. Like, what are the ways that you, other than music, try to connect with them?
Yeah, it's definitely been like, it's had to change a lot as I've grown. I used to do a meet and greet after every show and try and meet everyone, which kind of became impossible. I think I did it up to when like 300 cap rooms was like the maximum, because I'd hate to like do one of those meet and greets where it's just like hi photo bye, hi photo bye. I want to like talk to them and actually have a nice conversation and stuff. So that's definitely hard to do. Like the more people are coming to my shows, but yeah, I do try and respond to people online. I also have like a Discord server, almost like a subscription thing called Cave Club, and it's this very, very sweet, very wholesome little community, and they all play games together, and sometimes I'll join and chat with them and stuff, and that's a really nice way of having like a more like a smaller group of people because I want to keep interacting with them in like a way where I'm not rushing through everyone, you know. So that's been like a really nice way to keep that going.
Were you inspired by any artists in the way that they dealt with their fans? Because it sounds to me like you give a lot to your fans. You spend a lot of time. Were there any kind of artists that did that? You know, when you were younger, you thought that's really good and that's what I want to do.
Well, I grew up watching a lot of YouTube, and I feel like the YouTuber like fan culture can be quite different to the like people who are just musicians. People feel a lot more like connected to YouTubers just because of how much they share themselves, and you can feel like parasocially connected to them. So I guess I was like inspired by like YouTubers that I watched, and I'd go to like YouTube conventions and meet them, and I definitely it's really interesting because I've like been in the shoes of the people who come to see me so many times, especially but more so around like YouTubers when I was like, I don't know, 13, 15. So it's cool that I can like understand where they're coming from, and like I understand like the look in their eyes when they see me. I'm like, I did that. I did that at Summer in the City 2013. I know what you're saying. So
it's good to have been like fangirling or a fan behavior before, and then being like, no, I totally understand. It's not creepy. I've been doing that since I was a teenager. But talking a bit more about Warm Food, your 5th studio album, it's like you've have so much work already out, and in like you're 25 and you already have 5 studio albums, which is impressive. How have you evolved since the beginning of your career, your first self-titled album out to Warm Food?
Well, I've tried to keep it as close to the same as I could, really. I mean, obviously, like my access to like instruments and like software and stuff is like growing, which has been really awesome. But I found that the more that I deviate from the way that I did it in the start, the less enjoyable it is for me. There was some like album like writing experiences that became really stressful for me because I couldn't be at home and I couldn't like take my time with stuff, and I couldn't like be fully in control of everything. It's always been like really important for me to kind of have that as my thing, and the people that I've like started working with over the years have been like really great and like helping me protect that, which has been really awesome. But yeah, I still produce everything from home by myself, and that's just kind of my safe little space. Like I wouldn't want, like I said, like it's like my diary entry. I wouldn't want to like collab with someone on a diary entry, you know. It doesn't make sense. So
the name Worm Food for me implies death and decomposition.
Yeah.
Is that something you've been thinking about a lot?
I think about it a lot. Yeah. I guess so. I honestly usually I just name an album with like. Usually it comes from like a lyric that I think sounds cool or like is snappy. And Worm Food was when I was working on like mixing it and stuff, Worm Food was my favorite track that I was most excited about. So I was like, why don't I just call it Worm Food? That's kind of a cool name. Death is kind of awesome in a way.
it explains
Comes
a
to
lot
us
of
all,
things.
I suppose.
Yeah.
So Wormfoot was your favorite song title out of the album. What is your favorite song to perform right now?
I would say either Heart Attack or 1994. Those are ones that I like wrote. I feel like I have like subcategories in an album. Like there's like groups of songs that are like friends almost. Like Heart Attack and 1994 are like more like almost like punky, very band oriented, and I like those are ones that I thought a lot about like the live performance when I was writing them. Like I put like bass moments and like interesting like time signatures for Willoughby, my drummer, to have fun on, and like guitar solos for Austin. And when I was writing those, I was just really excited to see those like come to life on stage. And so I love just being able to like, I don't have to sing. I can just dance and turn around and watch Austin just absolutely rip an awesome solo. So definitely, yeah, probably those two are my favorites.
Your live sets, for the people who have been there, I was there, are like, have this like kind of aura of like fun. Like it's a concert, it's always fun, but it's also like kind of intimate. It feels like we were like kind of a group of friends and you were performing for us. It's I don't know how to explain it. I think it's something like you purposely prepared. I think it was what you were trying to do and you did achieve that. Like how do you prepare live sets? What do you try that people take away from them? Yeah,
I really love that you said that. I that's like the main thing that I want people to feel like it's just like a group of friends. I haven't been to that many shows that aren't mine, I guess. But every time I've been like in a crowd like that, I get very like overwhelmed. And but I think that people who get overwhelmed in spaces like that also deserve to enjoy live music. And so just I try really hard to make sure it feels like a really safe and comfortable place, where even if I get a lot of people who come and it's like their first time going to a gig, like they're usually quite young and they come with like their parents and stuff, and I want to give them like a good first impression and a good standard for like the future. And like you should feel safe in the crowd. You should feel like people around you are like looking out for you if you, I don't know, we get a lot of people who faint because maybe they get too excited or they don't drink enough water or something. But yeah, just to feel like, yeah, you have a place in that crowd and everyone around you is kind of understands you. It's kind of my goal.
It must feel quite weird to have people fainting in the crowd. So.
Yeah, I hate to say that I've gotten used to it. It's just kind of sad. It was definitely very jarring, like the first couple tours. But now we're prepared. My crew is prepared for it. Sometimes it's really annoying. The crew, like the security at venues, will like not believe us. We'll be like, people are going to faint. You need to hand out waters like immediately. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then people start dropping like flies, and we're like, come on, we literally told you. But yeah, it can be difficult if you're not sure if someone like needs more help than just their friend helping them. It's hard to know if you need to like stop a song for somebody. There's definitely, I feel a lot of like responsibility for them, and like, so when like security don't believe us and don't do their jobs, it can make it harder for me. But yeah, it's weird.
You can tell you really want it to be a safe space and people that are feeling okay and secure. Like it really is in the aura when you're playing. One thing I also really liked about the show that also played part into it is the graphics you have behind. It kind of also brings you into your universe, like when there's the lettering, each letter you can kind of see what the Cavetown universe is. Even if someone was discovering you for the first time, I think they got an idea because there's like nature elements, there's a worm, obviously, there's the pride flag, there's everything that kind of, I think, encapsulates your universe. And also there was your cat as well.
Yeah.
Who did you do the graphic design of that?
I didn't. My I I need to shout them out because today was the first time I saw that.
It was amazing.
It was awesome. I was so surprised to see it, and I filmed the whole thing. I was like standing on stage like when we were doing our line check. It's by someone called Laura who works with my marketing and like creative production manager Jacqueline at Laura's Sup Nick on Instagram, I guess.
Iconic. It was an amazing job. Because
did an awesome job. I was when Juno appeared, I was just like, oh my god, it's my baby.
The t-shirts as well. I'm just looking at the t-shirts people are wearing out there. They're
modeling.
They're lovely t-shirts.
Yeah, I love that design, the frog design.
You obviously have kind of a love for Adventure Time, and the set also kind of reminded me of Adventure Time.
Yay.
What show are you watching now?
What am I watching right now? Right now I kind of go through phases where I'm only watching one thing. Like for a long time, I would just watch Adventure Time over and over and over again. Right now, I just watch like YouTube videos. Like I'm into like commentary YouTube.
Long essays, video essays, kind of thing.
Like people reviewing like silly movies or just like goofy, like badly produced movies.
Yeah.
I love those kind of commentary videos. So I just watch the same videos over and over again. I'm like, I like this video. Why would I find anything else? I'll just watch this.
If I know I like this one.
Yeah. I know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
but I'm like, this is my stuff.
I kind of do that too, but I say it because I'm a Taurus, and it's like, oh yeah, it's because of the horoscope thing and astrology.
Right.
Probably not. And what's next for you? What's coming? Or you're just focused on tour and you don't have time to think, oh, I would like to start thinking about new songs or new projects or...
Yeah, I mean, when I'm on tour, my mind is pretty much just like on tour. It's kind of hard to think or about anything else or like do anything else. I've tried writing on tour before and it ended up being stressful for me. So, but I'm sure when I get home, I'm gonna like inspiration is gonna flood from like all these experiences, and I usually just kind of write constantly, like little bits and pieces, and then go into the studio and like think about it more deeply. I am doing a bunch of production stuff for some other artists, which is really exciting. I love doing production, and I've learned a lot kind of doing some new mixing techniques and stuff, so that's exciting. Hopefully I can like talk more about that soon, but this year has just got a lot of touring and a lot of fun with my friends. So
well, thank you so much for coming along. I was about to say, obviously, you've done your gig here, but in Madrid, Friday, the 9th of June, that's next Friday, isn't it?
In Madrid?
Sure.
That's for sure, it's happening.
At the Ron Brugal stage, probably round about the same time. So, yeah, go and see that. Go and see that. Thank you so much for coming along, and I hope you have a lovely night.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure.
RPS.
Live from Primavera Sound.
Proudly presented by
Meta Hype and Cupra.